Let us try to solve the exercise number 6 in the part B of Advanced Java Lab. In this particular exercise, we are supposed to create a JSP program, and we are supposed to get the student information from an HTML page, create a Java bean class, populate that bean with the information that is provided over here, and display the same information through another page. That means to say that we are supposed to have a HTML page that will send the request to a JSP page. Okay. And from the JSP page, we are going to go to the one more JSP page. So 3 pages will be there, and definitely there will be a bean class that we are supposed to generate. So let's go ahead and let's do the exercise. I'm going to go to the NetBeans, and I have the older version of the NetBeans with me. And I'm going to go to the file, and I'm going to select the new project. Under this new project, I'm going to select the Java Web as my option, and I'm going to select the web application as my option, and I'm going to go to the next here, and you can type any name here, and I'm going to give the name as a student info. If this project may be there, may not be there, but if it is there, give some other name. Let me click next, and you can select the Glassfish or the Tomcat server. It doesn't make any sense in this particular program because we are not going to deploy it manually. Click next, and I'm not going to use any of the frameworks, and I'm going to just finish it off. So NetBeans is going to create a project for me, and in this project, it has by default added the index.html for me, and I'm going to use that thing to get the details of the students, and I'm going to change the title of this particular page, and I'm going to say student info as the title of this particular page. I will remove this div. I don't want this div, and I'm going to use the h2 maybe, and I'm going to say enter student details. I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to use a form here and submit all the information from this page to a JSP page. Remember, I'm there in the index page, that is HTML page. So from this HTML page, I'm going to get all the student information, and I'm going to send it to the JSP page. That is what I'm going to do it. So let me create that JSP page first so that I can send it to the other side of the world. And as usual, you are aware that whenever you are, where is this gone? Whenever you are using the Java application, that is a web application, there are two sections are there. This is for the HTML, CSS, JSP, and other. There is one other section over here. This is for your Java. So don't confuse the two things. One section is for your HTML side, and the other one is for the Java side. Don't interchange them. It will not be able to deploy that if at all you are doing that mistake. So let's go ahead and let's right click on this web pages. That I'm going to right click on this web page. I'm going to say new, and I'm going to use the JSP. Suppose if the JSP is not visible here, go to the others. At the bottom we get this others, and then go to the web here, not HTML. Go to this web here, and under the web you can go and search for the JSP file. Both the way, in any way, then you click next here. In any way, you are going to reach to this page, this dialog box, and I'm going to give the name as page, or let's say first page, FIRST. Okay, first page. Done. There is no need to give the folder or other things, and I'm going to just finish it off. I'm done with it. So when I have the form here, I'm going to create a form here. From this page, I'm going to send it to this first page. So all the information, I'm going to send it to this page. So let me go to the HTML, index.html. Again, if you have closed it by mistake, if you have closed index.html or this file, go to the project, search for your project, and double click on the icon, not the text. So most of you are doing the mistake by double clicking on the text. If you double click on the text, it means you want to rename it. So I want to open it means double click on the icon over here, it's going to open it. And for those students who have even closed this one, go to Windows and you have an option for projects. You can open that projects there. Okay, now let's go ahead and let's start with the form. And I'm going to press form here. Let me fill this form part first. So I have this method which I'm going to use as post, and I have this action, and I'm going to press Control space here, and I'm going to select the first page dot JSP. That means to say that from this page, I'm going to go to the first page. When I click on submit button, I want to go to that particular page. I'm going to arrange it in a table here. So I'm going to start with the table, and you know very well table has a row. You're familiar with that. And table has the column. The first column, I'm going to take it as a register number. Okay, that's the first uh, column there. And then I'm going to use TD. And here I'm going to use the input, and I will use the type. Again, I'm going to use the type as text here, because you know your numbers are going to start with the UG something. So there is a letter is there, there are numbers are there. So it is alphanumeric. So I'm going to take it as a text. Let me give the name of it as a reg number. Okay, that's all. I don't think so I need anything else. So I have the first register number. Next one, I'm going to use Control C here, and I'm going to press enter, and I'm going to use Control V here. Next one I'm going to use is the name. So I'm going to say name. I'm going to say take it as yes name here. Get done. Again, I'm going to use paste it. I've already copied it. Then I'm going to say course, and the name I'm going to use is course. Again, I've already copied it, so I'm just pasting it. Control C and Control V. You're already familiar with that. And finally, I have the semester, and I'm going to call this one as sem. I've taken all of them as text. If you want, you can take the drop down and other things. But why to complicate the life when you can do it in an easy way? Let me paste it for the last time, and I will remove this first part here. This, let it be blank. The first column or this first cell will be blank. The second cell, I will say the type is submit. Okay. Name, I'm going to say submit button. Okay. Value, I'm going to say register. You can give anything, submit, register, or anything. Okay. Let me save it, and let me right click and run this particular file to just to see how it's going to go about it. I'm not getting that right option. So NetBeans, this is the problem with my machine, not with the NetBeans. Okay, where is it? It is a problem with my machine, not with the NetBeans. Okay. I'm going to just run this one to just see how it's going to appear on the screen. This is how it's going to look like on the browser. You have the register number, name, course, and so on and so forth. You can always fill them. When you click on the register, it's going to go to the next page. Suppose I don't fill anything, I click on the next, you notice that I'm in the index.html page. You can notice that I'm in the index page. And when I click on this one, it has to take me to the first page.jsp. So this is what is happening over here. So when I click on it, it will take me to the index.html, but nothing is going to happen because I've not done anything over there. So let's look at the second part over here. So I have accepted the student information, and I'm sending it to a JSP page. And in this JSP page, I'm supposed to populate the bean class. So let's go ahead and let's create a Java bean here. So let me go to the project, and in my project, you notice that there are two sections are there in your project. The first section is for the JSP. The second section is for the Java. So remember, Java bean is a Java class. So you need to create a Java class here, and all the Java part will come under source packages. It will come under here. If you put the Java package in this section, it will not deploy. You'll get an error saying that I can't create the deployment package. I can create a war package, and you will get an exception altogether. So let's go ahead and let's right click on this source package. I'm right clicking on this source package, and I'm going to say new, and you can search for the Java class. Suppose if you don't get this Java class here, go to the others, and in the others, this time it is ordinary Java. Search for the Java, ordinary Java here, and definitely will find the Java class inside it. And let me click next, and let me give a name to this particular thing, and I'm going to call this one as a student. And as usual, you will see a warning message saying that highly recommended that you put a class in a particular package. I'm going to put the package as com, short form for component. You can give any other name of your choice, but I will keep it as simple so that it is easier to type as well as to write during the examination. Let me click on finish, and then you have the class being created. This is an ordinary Java class. It is not a bean. How do I convert it into a bean? Ordinary class can be called as a Java bean class provided it satisfies few of the properties. First one, all its attributes has to be private. So anything you start with the private. So I'm going to say private string reg number. Okay. And very important thing, you have to use the camel casing. So you start with the small case letter, and if you have the second word, start the capital for the second word. For example, if you want to write like this in the camel casing, if you want to write like this, this is my name. Look at the way I have written. You have to follow that. Start with the small case letter first. Then whenever the next word comes, you start with the capital. Then first letter is capital. Then all the letters are small case. Next word, first letter is in capital. All the other letters are in small case. Next word, first letter is in capital. All the other words will be there. So this, you know, these camels are there. They have the there at the back side to keep water. So that this is how it's going to go. But you must always start with the small case. This is the convention. Follow the convention, and you will be happy without getting any error. So I'm going to use the register number as the first one. So I'm going to then say a private string yes name as my student name. Okay, let me make it as name itself. Why make life complicated? Again, if you don't want to do all these things, so you just wait a register number. It's one and the same. Okay, but I just want to show this two things. Yes name. Okay, and let me say I've taken it. Let me use the private string course. Remember, don't start with the capital letter. It has to start with the small case letter string sem. Done there. Okay. Then what is the other properties that the bean has? So bean, all the methods, all the attributes of that particular class is in private. So that's the first thing. And the next one is that the bean must have a default constructor, and you know very well by default Java adds a default constructor, but I'm going to add it exclusively. How difficult it is to add a default constructor in Java? It is simple as pressing Control and space. So in the empty place, you just type ctrl plus space bar. Okay, you do that thing. In the empty place, I have an empty place within this class, Control space, and you have the first choice is given to you by the NetBeans that do you want me to create a constructor? I'm going to say press enter, and the constructor is created. Then the next one is you must have accessor for all these properties that you have here. All these properties must have the accessors. What are these accessors? The getter and setter method. So you have to have this getter and setter method. How difficult it is to create a getter and a setter method? If you notice over here, if you press Control space in the empty place, NetBeans will give you a choice for getter and setter, get course name, set course name, and so on. It's going to give you that particular thing. However, I want it to do it in one shot rather than selecting one at a time. So I'm going to right click in the empty place, and I'm going to go for insert code. The shortcut for this is insert, alt insert. So I'm going to go and insert code, and then you are given a choice for many things, and I'm going to go and say I want getters and setters together. So I'm going to click on that. NetBeans will give me a choice and say, do you want to generate getters and setters? I'm going to select this one for all, or individually I can select it, or I can directly select it all and then say generate. NetBeans will do the things, but you will notice one important thing is when it creates it, it always follows the camel casing. Now you notice this name over here. This is get register number. Look at how the register number is given. It starts with the small case and then it jumps to the capitals. Whereas here, get will start with the small case, then reg number R in capital, and then it goes like this. So it is following the convention. You must, if at all you are writing it, you have to follow that convention. If you don't follow that convention, you will get an unnecessary error message. That is why I have asked the NetBeans to do it for me, so that I don't want to get bugged up with the coding as such. So it is done. All the accessor methods are created. Still, it is not a bean. How do you make it as bean? Bean must implement a serializable class. So I'm going to say it will serializable interface. So I'm going to say the student implements serializable. Okay, so I'm going to say serializable. And if I press control space, NetBeans will say serializable is a class that is available under java.io, and you will notice that this class does not okay, classes do not implement this interface, will not have any of the state serialized or deserialized. Okay, so if you want the classes to be serializable, then you say this one. Okay, I am not getting the story there. Okay, you can read the whole thing there, and I think they have not shown. They've shown some codes there, but the word I'm not getting that word. Now I'm going to just press enter and make it serializable. First thing, okay, so I make it as serializable, and if you notice that the NetBeans has made an import statement for io.serializable. What I wanted in that help was one word called it is a marker tag. It's a marker interface. What is the meaning of saying marker interface is, you know very well, whenever you implement a serializable, you have to implement the methods which are there in that interface. So when you implement any interface for that matter, generally there will be some methods that you have to implement within your class. That is what is the idea of interfaces. An interface has some methods, only method definitions or the declarations will be there. You have to define that method in your class. So here I have the serializable interface with me. How many methods do I have to implement or how many methods do I have to define here? The answer is you don't need to define anything in this. The reason for this is I'm going to just right click on this serializable. I'm going to go to the navigate and I'm going to go to the source to see how many methods are there. If you notice over here, the interface serializable, it does not have any method inside it. It is just an interface without any methods. There is no method declaration here, so it is just a plain interface. That means to say that you don't need to override any methods here. You don't have to do anything, just write that one. That's why it's called as a marker tag. The minute this particular serializable is there with the any of the class, it means the class can be serializable. And the story of serializable, you have studied it in the Java classes, so I'm not going to go in depth into it. So here, if you use this serializable, there is no need for you to implement any of the methods because there is no method in that interface. With that being done, our bean is completed. So our bean has is serializable because it implements serializable interface. All its attributes are in private. There is a default constructor and there are accesses for all the properties. That makes it bean. So this is a special type of Java class that has all these things inside it. So let's go to the first page now. So here in the index page, you get all the details of the student. You take it to the first page. In the first page, you need to instantiate that bean class just now you created and then populate all these values into that bean class. So let's go ahead and let's do that thing. I'm going to go here, leave that thing there. Let me go to the first page here. Everything is going to come over here, and I'm going to say for brevity, I'm going to say this is my first page, first JSP page. Let it be first JSP page, and I'm going to give h1 is there, and I'm going to say student details are saved. Okay, that is what I'm going to say. So when you run this, you're going to get the message saying that the student details are saved. That's the only thing you're going to get it. But how do you save it? Okay, that's the important thing. I'm going to use the JSP tag for doing that thing. So anywhere you can do it, here, there, anywhere you can, if you want, you can do it. Let me do it here itself. So I'm going to use the JSP tag. I'm going to say JSP, and what is JSP? JSP, and I'm going to say use bean. Okay, use bean. A few things you must understand. The two very important thing is what is coming in the red color. They have to be there, whether you like it or not. Those two properties has to be set. First one, give a ID to this one. I'm going to give the ID as std. That's the first thing. Next one is the scope, and I'm going to give it as session scope. Okay, I'm going to say this is a session scope. So it's going to go with the session scope. Now, if you really didn't get it, I'm going to just use the scope here. And the scope could be page request session application. Okay, these scopes are there. I'm going to go with the session scope. That is what I've done that thing. So I'm going to go with the session scope. Next one is which class to be used. So I'm going to use the class and I'm going to just type a student. I'm going to just type student. Now, when I type the student and press enter, you notice that NetBeans has already imported com.student for me. Automatically, NetBeans will do it. Okay. Suppose if this is not there and if you type student, NetBeans will tell you that you are, where is that student? So is it there in the com? Now you press enter here, it will add that thing. Now, if it has added, that doesn't mean that you are saved. You are not saved. Okay, so I'm going to make it as student. If you say that okay, NetBeans has added the import statement here and everything is done, from now it is not done. Remember, always remember, this is very critically important thing. You mention the package name. Whether you like it or not, mention the package name. Where is the student? Student is inside com. Look at here. So student is inside com. So you have to mention the package name, whether you like it or not. If you don't do that thing, it will say that when you run this particular code, if you forget to add that package name, when you run this code, it is going to say that I could not get that student class altogether. So even though you say that I have written an import statement and other things, it just says that I can get it. Okay, so mention the package name properly so that you will not get an error message. So that being done, let's finish this JSP bean. Now this will instantiate the student. What is the meaning of saying what is the meaning of this particular statement? It is same as in plain Java. If you have written student std is equal to new student, this line whatever you are writing is the same thing. So id is std and the class is student. You instantiate that particular class. This is what you have done. So nothing much to be done over here. Then you have to set the property. So generally you are going to call like this. If std is the variable name, std dot set a register number, and then you will type 1 2 3 4 and something. Okay, this is to set the value. So same thing you have to do it even in the JSP. So how do you do that particular thing? Very simple. We start with the JSP. Why I'm typing just first. So JSP, and I'm going to say set property. Okay. As usual, what is the name of this one? std is the variable name that we are using, which is the property that you are setting. Remember, property is a register number. Don't get confused. That's very essential. When you write this one, all of them are your properties. Okay, look at here, reg number, R in small case and number. Do not get confused with this one. This is a method. Remember, this is the method that will be called, and this method is written set register number. This is not the property, that's the method name. Properties are always from here, so take the variable names from here, not from the methods. So let's go ahead and let's continue with the property name. And what is the value that you have to use it? I'm going to use the expression tag over here. This is a if you have studied the which one operating system, and in the operating system you get shell script. If you studied that kind of thing, then you will be familiar with this kind of a thing, how to evaluate the expression and so on and so forth. So this is an expression evaluator. I'm going to evaluate the expression. What is it? So remember, when you submit, these are all not required. These are advertisement from the Bing there. So when you submit, all these values will go to a page called as first what is this first page.jsp. Okay, so it's going to go to this first page.jsp. all of them will be the parameter. You are sending the parameters to this page, so these parameters are sent to this particular page. So I have to extract one parameter from that list of parameters which are sent from the HTML page. So how do I get this one? I start with the param. So short form for this one, parameter dot. Remember, NetBeans, you can't help it because you can get the parameters from any other pages. It's not there in this page, it is there in some other page, and NetBeans can't guess which is the page from which you are going to get the parameter. So now you are on your own. Go back to the index.html and figure out what is the name that you have given to individual parameters. So for the register number, you gave the name as reg number. I'm going to double click on it, Control C to copy it, and I'm going to copy this one, register number. You know very well, Java is case sensitive. So if you type it in a wrong case, you will get an error. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to say this is param.reg number. One property is set. So this is the parameter register number that you are getting it from the HTML page. So you are getting it from the HTML page. Similarly, you have to get all the other parameters. So I'm going to just copy this one, Control C, and I'm going to paste it for I think 3 more times so that I will get all the properties. Otherwise, every time I have to copy paste and the other things. So next property is, remember, this property is this part is from Java. This part is from HTML. So one part is from Java, other part is from HTML. So be careful. Second property, I'm going to go to the student and I'm going to find out is the name. I gave it as name. Control C to copy from here, and I'm going to paste it here. That's the name. Next one, this part is from the HTML, so I'm going to go to the HTML, double click on yes name, Control C to copy it, get it back to my JSP page, and under this parameter, double click here, paste it, Control V to paste it. Similarly, I need the third property. Go to the Java class here, double click here, Control C to copy it, go to the first page.jsp, double click and paste it here. I need this property coming from the index.html, go to HTML, double click on this property, Control C to copy it, go to student, not that student, the JSP page, double click here, paste it. Same way the last property, go to the student, double click on this one, same Control C to copy it. I'm doing it because you may say that why don't you type it? I'm doing it so that even I don't want to make a silly mistake during the examination. So you are very sure that these are things, same things are there. Let's go to the this part HTML and double click, Control C to copy it, and come to the JSP page, double click and paste it. So again, all these things came from index.html. All these things came from student.java. Okay. With that, you have set the property. That's all you need to do. You are not going to do anything over here. And after this, after I set this one, I'm going to put a anchor tag, and I'm going to say view the details in the second page. For that, I need a second page. I'm going to go to the projects, and remember, always make the distinction. This part is for Java, this part is for your HTML or JSP. So I'm going to click on this one, web pages. I'm going to click on this one, right click on it and say new JSP. Remember, I'm putting JSP in this page, not the other way. So right click, new JSP. That being done, let's go to the this side, and I'm going to say the name, and I'm going to call it as second page. I'm purposely giving the name as second page, first page, and so on, so that I am able to follow what instructions that are given in the question. So this is my second page. I'm going to just finish it off. So why I did give it the name as first page and second page? Remember, this is just a practical exercise, so there's not going to be much fun here. So they said write a Java page, that is my first page. Pull all the information from the HTML page and fill the bin, and then display the same information in the other page. So in the first page, I am pulling the information from the HTML page, putting it into the bin. In the second page, I'm going to display the content. So that's what I'm going to do. That's why, to make it easier for anybody to guess what I'm doing, I've given the name as first page and second page. Okay. So from the first page, you pull all the information. These are the information you got it from the HTML page. You have populated that information. So from the HTML page, you got all this information, and you have filled that information in the Java bin, not the second page, sorry, Java bin. And now it's a time to show it in the second page. How do you do it? You're going to use, I'm going to use the h2 tag here first, and I'm going to use the anchor tag here, a, and I'm going to say href, and I'm going to press control space, and I'm going to select second page. That it's going to go to the second page, and let me put say show or view student details. That's it. So it's going to go to the second page, wherein I'm supposed to show that thing. Let me run it and just show you how is it going to go about it. So I'm going to go back to my page, and I'm going to just press enter here. Let me add some name. Okay, I'm going to say Suma, and sorry, this is a register number 1234. Let's give the name as Suma. Course is BCA, obviously, and semester is 6, obviously. Register, and if everything goes fine, it should load the bin and say student details are saved. And if I click on this is my first page, remember I got everything in the first page from my index page, and when I click on view student, I am supposed to show the student details in the second page. So let's go to the second page here. I have the first page with me. Let's go to the second page here, and in the second page I will give the title as second page, just to make somebody feel that this is the some other page. Okay, and I'm going to give not the hello world, definitely. I'm going to say student details are, okay, student details are, and I will show it in the HTML page, in the table. And the table is already there. I'm not going to waste my time in creating one more table. Table is already there in my index.html. So I'm going to go here to my index.html, and I'm going to steal this page from here, rob it from here, and put it there. So this is the table that I've created. So I'm going to go and copy up to the table. So get this whole table from this table to this table, get that table, Control C to copy it, get this table, Control C to copy it, and then go to your second page. Again, if you close this second page, go here and double click on that. It's obvious. Okay, just get this page, Control V to paste it. Done. Save it. Now, only question that is left over is how are you going to show it to the user, the values which are stored in the bean. So you have stored all the information in the bean here. So you have stored it in the bean called std, and it is there. It has a session scope. That means it will be available for all the pages as long as you are there in the session. And then you have to show it. The name of that particular variable or the class or the object is std. So in the second page, how do you show it? I'm going to use the JSTL tag for this one because it is going to be an easy one. So I'm going to use a JSTL tag here. So I'm going to use the tag lib. So I'm going to say tag lib. Okay. And let me use the prefix as C. And let me use the URI. And I'm going to use the URI. Very, 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 very critically important. It is JSP JSTL. Okay, so you have to use this one, JSP JSTL core. Very critically important. Do not select something else. So this is the one that I am selecting, and that is the JSP JSTL core. Look at this one. So the rest part will be same. This part will be only different. JSP JSTL core. Okay, so this is the one that I'm going to select it. If you select the wrong thing, you will not get the proper thing. So JSP JSTL core, I'm going to select it. So this is the like and include statement. So you are using PHP and you are in love with PHP. Why do you think that JSP is much powerful than PHP? This is because of this tag lib. With this tag lib, you can import almost any different types of tags and then start using it. So this facility is not there in your PHP. Yeah, I'm not saying that PHP is bad, but when you compare the capability of JSP, it is much powerful. And you know very well, within the HTML page, you get the whole Java inside that HTML page. That is much needed thing that is required by any developer. So this is why JSP is so powerful. Let's go ahead and let's get the thing. So I have the register number. In front of the register number, I don't want the input tag to come because I'm displaying it here. I'm going to use the prefix. Remember, I use the prefix here. My prefix is C. If you use the prefix D, K, L, M, anything you can use it. This letter is up to you. So I've used the prefix as a C here. Where is the register number gone? So I'm going to go here and say C. Okay, and if you put a colon, you get different. For each choose, you notice the power now. Okay, of that particular tag. You have directly you can get it in the tag. Okay, that's the power of JSP. So let me click on out, because you know the word out means out.println. You are already familiar. Output, show that thing. And this is required. When you say out, this is required value. Remember, whichever that comes in red color, it is required. Value is coming in red color, it is required. What is the value? Again, for the value, I'm going to use the expression. And how do you get the expression? Dollar and flower bracket. This is an expression. Remember, this variable is already there in the session with the name std. I don't have to import, I don't have to do anything. Session is available for all the other page. So I'm going to say std dot you have to type on your own. It's not going to help you with the NetBeans will not help you with the anything. You have to be careful with it. So std.u, how do you get it? std.register number or std.reg number. This is how you're going to do it. So std.reg number, you have to type it properly. NetBeans can't help you in that scenario. And let me close that out tag. So that is done. I'm going to copy it and I'm going to paste it here. For the name, I'm going to just paste it here. Name is not the same as the register number. Look at the name, what you give a name as a small case name. Look at the properties here. Remember, all these are properties, you know very well. So this is property name. Similarly for the course, I'm going to paste it. I'm pasting the expression rather than writing it many times. And what you have is course, and you get this course. And finally, I have it for the semester. Sem. Look at the property, write the property from here. So these are the properties that you expect inside that class. So you got that one. Then naturally, I don't want the submit button. I'm going to delete that row itself. So I don't want that submit. The last one, you notice that in this last one was submit. This is not required. It's, you're going to display it to the user from, is it not? So save it and give it a final touch. Let's start with some other name. Register number is 999 and the name is say Suresh, let's say, and he's from BCom, let's say, and he is in 4th semester. Okay. Submit it and student details are saved. View the student details and you must be able to get the student details. This thing is not refreshing here. Oh, that thing is there in the problem with this one is it is there in the session. Scope is session, so it is there in the session. It's going to add the second bill. Let me, if you want to try this one, you have to close this. Okay, because the session has to be broken. Because I just put it in the session, it's going to show you the older version. So you have to close that and rerun it. Close the browser, not the one. So remember, again, if you're not very familiar, this is going to be talked in the theory classes. What is the session and what is its importance? So it is in the session. Unless you close the browser, it will not remove the values of this session. So I have to, you have to close that browser and rerun it. Otherwise, it will show you the first value that you have inserted. It is already there in the session. So this bean is already there with the value and it's going to show you that value. So let me rerun it. It's going to take some time and I think I can pause my video so that my browser, my machine is slow, so that I will pause and wait for the browser to come up. So I have started my browser again. So I'm going to say 333 and what is the name is what the name is say Rekha, some name, and what is the course is BBA first semester, register, and it is registered. View it and you must get Rekha. Remember, this is not all these are not required. That is from the Bing there. So this is what you're going to get. And remember, if you because it is there in the scope as where is that part? I have shown it here. Because I gave the scope as session, it's going to be there in the session. Okay. Next time it's going to be there in the session. If you create one more bean, automatically it will show the first one which is there in it. So you just have to break that session. How do you break the session? Is you close the browser and rerun it so that the information is there in the browser. So it has sent a cookie to the browser saying that you are now in session with me. The NetBeans or the Glassfish is going to say you are there with this session is there with me, and it's going to maintain the old session values. So you have, when you close it, browser goes away and browser will remove that cookie and it will start over as a fresh one. Now just a few things about it, because this is going to be the last exercise for the which one, JSP one. So I'm going to finally show you not the error message of the Kaspersky, the deployment which was done in the Glassfish. If you look at the Glassfish server here, the one that you see under the services, you see it here. Now, if you have Tomcat, you will not get that one. If you have this Glassfish, if you right click on this Glassfish, you can start, stop, and other things. You can see the admin console. I'm going to click on that admin console and I'm going to pause my video because it's going to take slightly longer time for it to load that. I think it has loaded. It's going to load that thing. I think I will pause the video and I will come back to it once it is fully loaded. So this is what you get it here. Okay, this is the console. So what I have done is I have right clicked on the Glassfish server, and under the services you open this servers, and this is closed. I'm not running it. This one is the one that I'm running it, and I'm going to go to the admin console. Okay, I went there. And if you notice over here, Glassfish has done, there are a lot of things. In the Tomcat, you will not be able to see this interface. And one thing you must understand is that the file name is JSF. Okay, and I will leave it to you. What is JSF? It is not JSP, it is JSF. That is why I told you right at the beginning, there are a lot of things you need to study about this particular thing. The lot of things are there. Okay, what is important to me is not this all these things, which doesn't make any sense to me. But what is interesting to me is my applications that I have deployed. So all the applications that I have created are available here. All my application, the one that I've demonstrated, the one that I have not demonstrated, everything will be there. So if I click on the student info, you will see that this is what it has done in the student info. So it is saying that there is this student info and the route here and the location here, deployment order, which is the module, and you notice that there is a web component, and is there any other component, and there is a servlet for this and so on and so forth. Some details will be there. Also, let me zoom out for you. It will also show you the deployment descriptor. If at all you are interested in, because some people are very much interested in the deployment descriptor, it is there in your syllabus, also theory syllabus. So if I click on this glassfish.web.xml, it's actually web.xml. For Glassfish, it has created a separate one. Okay, so this is your deployment descriptor, and in the deployment descriptor, a few things you must notice is I think I've not added anything to the deployment descriptor there, so it has not added it. Let me show you the one that I've created. I don't remember. I think I created this download demo long ago, and if I see its deployment descriptor, let me show you that web.xml. Okay. This is the one you will hear that story in your theory classes, and you have the servlet and you have the servlet mapping. Okay, name of it is file downloader. That is the name of the servlet, and the class where that thing is there is this one. Okay, it is mapped to this one, and here you notice that the session timeout is 30, so it's going to wait for 30, and after that it will invalidate the session. So all of them, that what you see is a war file. So these are war files that you are going to create it. So in Java you have jar files. You are familiar with this word jar in Java. When it comes to the web, you have this war files. Okay, so it has created that war. That is what I told you. It is going to create a deployment deployable unit called as war file, and it's going to place it here. Okay, if you made a mistake when you create the project, If you, instead of putting the JSP here, if you put the JSP on this side, it will not be able to create that var file, and you will not be able to put that thing or deploy that thing on your server. That is why you must be a bit careful. Rest, I'm not going to waste your time. You explore it on your own. Thank you for your interest, and we will meet again in the other exercise. Thank you.